All right. Mic check. I'm good. So I'm Ceron. Ceron. CWBA Association Welding Podcast. Podcast. Today we have a really cool guest. Welding Podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWBA Association Podcast. My name is Max Ceron, and as always, I'm scouring the nation for great stories and personalities to interview. This woman I got to meet very briefly when I was out in the East doing some stuff with Jill of All Trades, and then we got her on her name and her information, so we were able to bring her onto the show. We have Ashly Martinez today. Ashly, how are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Today's a busy day. I actually got a bunch of podcasts today and lots of work to do, so it's gonna be busy. Yeah, it's gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
And yourself?
Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. I'm actually on break for this week from school, so just been taking that break.
So where are you going to school?
Right now I'm at Fanshawe. I'm in my second semester of their welding and fabrication technician program. It's also a co-op, so I'll be starting that in the fall. We are kind of looking to apply right now, so I haven't found anything yet, but
Is that with Mike Ashby?
I
I thought he was at Fanshawe, one of the instructors.
know there's a Mike. I do not remember his last name.
Tattooed guy, bigger guy?
Oh no, that's not the same Mike then.
Okay.
No. I don't think I've seen that person there.
So how is the program? How do you like it so far?
It's good. It's good so far. I have two other classmates who are women, which is kind of nice to have. But so far, yeah, I've learned a lot. Our first semester we did a lot of stick and MIG. This semester is all TIG, so it's been an interesting learning curve.
Yeah, it's how long is the course in total?
It's 2 years. So it's 2 years, and then I do I do 2 years and then 2 semesters of co-op.
Oh wow, so that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Now, how tough is it to find co-ops around your area there?
Well, we have a co-op class. So our I guess co-op rep, I think she's our rep, yeah. She posts all her job postings that she has contact with. Just the companies around here in London and outside of London. So basically once she starts posting those jobs, we just apply, and then we should be able to get a co-op pretty easy. She said last year I think only 3 people didn't get a co-op, or they chose not to do co-op. So yeah, shouldn't be too bad.
I always find co-ops to be very good for a program. It helps students get some experience, and if a student does well in a co-op, usually they get hired. Usually they kind of stick on. So
yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. At least for a little bit.
Yeah. So let's start at the beginning of the story here.
Okay.
So right off the top, I noticed your last name is Martinez. So that's probably Latino somehow. I don't want to guess, but I would say most of my friends that are Martinez are either from El Salvador or South America somewhere. So what's your heritage? What's your cultural background?
Yeah, so my parents are from El Salvador, both my mom and my dad, and then I was actually born here. So yeah.
So were you born in Ontario, or were you born
I was
somewhere?
born no, I was born in BC actually. So we lived there for a couple of years. I was just a baby, and then we moved to London. My whole family's here. So my aunts, my uncles, my grandpa, everybody's here.
So a whole bunch of you came over at the same time. I mean, you were born here, but your parents and their families.
My parents, my aunt, uncles, they all came. And then they settled here in London.
So do you speak Spanish?
I definitely understand a lot. I don't really practice too much speaking, so I don't like to do it. The accent's just not there.
Yeah, I sound like my kids. They went to Spanish school and all this stuff, and they're still I know that they can, because when we go back home, I send them out, and they seem to do okay. But if I ask them to talk to me, it's no dice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I've had a bunch of jobs, and they'll be like, "Oh, this customer speaks Spanish. Can you help?" And I'm just maybe. But
So as an immigrant family coming to BC, and they were out there. What did your parents do for a living? What was their skills?
Yeah, my mom, she had me really young, so she kind of was a young mom for a while. But then she started hairdressing school, so she's full-time hairdresser now, here in London. And my dad, she actually met my dad later on in life, so I think I was like maybe around 4.
Hmm.
But right now he works for Coca-Cola at like one of their um like factories. I don't know. There's like a bottling place here in London, so that's where he works.
So they're both in the
Um,
trades. Your dad,
yeah, basically ish.
in
Yeah.
yeah, in manufacturing, and
Yeah.
your mom, like, it's a red seal trade, hairdressing.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
did she go to school? Did she get her red seal?
Yeah, she went to school and everything. I'm pretty sure she keeps up with all her, I don't know, like she always has to go
Hmm.
for like some sort of test like every couple of years or
Yeah.
something. But yeah, so they're both, hardworking people.
Good. So as a young girl, did you have welding on your radar ever? Like, how,
Um,
like, as coming up, what made you even look down this path?
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely like the trades in general was not like a thing I was even looking at, or like nobody like brought that to me.
Hmm.
My parents really wanted me to go into like the medical field, like a nurse or like a doctor. So I tried to do that. Did like a pre-health course at Fanshawe right out of high school, but then I was like, this isn't what I want to do. And I just kind of like worked for a really long time.
Yeah. What kind of
Yeah,
jobs?
and just like retail, a lot of coffee shops, just like anything that
Hmm.
would pay me money.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but yeah, and then after a little while, I met my fiance. We kind of moved in together for a year, and she was looking at HVAC. And she's like, "Oh, look, there's like a free program in like, I think it was like St. Thomas, or if it was in London, I don't remember." But I was like, "Oh, free? Like, what other things are free? Like,
Yeah.
I'd like
Yeah.
to try
Free.
something for free."
Free sounds good.
Yeah. So then I just started looking at like these government funded programs. And they had a bunch, right? Like they had HVAC, they had, I think, like professional painting. But I don't know. I saw the welding one and I was like, what the hell is welding? I was like, what
Hmm.
is welding? Like, I don't know what that is. So did some Googling, watched some videos, and then I saw that like a lot of people go into artistic welding. And so that kind of really caught my attention. So I was like, let me try and apply for like one of these programs. So I did, and I got into a program in Conestoga of Guelph, actually. So that was like my first, I guess, like ex,
Taste. Yeah.
yeah, that was like my first taste of welding. I had never seen a weld in real life. I've never like I didn't know anything. Then our first shop class, we were doing stick, and then yeah, I just like I started welding, and I was like, oh my god, this is freaking cool, and I want to do this forever. Like it just like clicked. I don't know, like I loved it.
It is very much a click thing. Like, it is
Yeah.
very much like either you dig it or you don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I find
Yeah.
that most people, if they find themselves in a welding class, will dig it. But then it's like a conversation internally of like, do I dig this enough to do it every day for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Or do I just enjoy this because I get to be creative
Yeah.
and as an outlet or a hobby? You know what I mean? So when you were trying this out and getting your first taste there at Conestoga, what was the thoughts that were rolling through your head? Like, you were, having worked a bunch of jobs where you're like, this could just be something in between, or were you
Yeah.
like, no, you know what, this is pretty cool. Like,
Yeah. I definitely thought like, oh, like I don't know, maybe I won't like actually take this far, but the more, I was going into the program and like all the like support I was getting from the staff, like I had Jackie Morris as my shop teacher, so she
oh,
was,
she's awesome.
yeah, she was amazing. So she like made me fall in love with it more, and like it just, yeah, I'm in it. She definitely opened up like a lot of doors for me. So
So now, after you finished that program in Conestoga, how long was that? Was that just a couple weeks
yeah,
or?
so that was, I think it was, yeah, it was like the summer. So it was maybe like July until the end of the year. And then you would finish off that program, and then begin your level 2 apprentice. But I didn't stay until the end just because of like money situations. Like I was driving from London to Conestoga every single day, and it got to be a bit expensive, and I wasn't really working at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
I literally just had to stop going, and it was like super upsetting.
Yeah.
So I stopped, I think maybe like October. Yeah, I left October and I told Jackie about it. I was like, I literally like can't afford this anymore, even though the program is free. Like I have like no help from anybody. Not that I was asking, but I want to do this on my own, but I can't right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, just like, she's like, you have natural talent, like try give it a shot if you can in London or like a different program. And so like it was always like in the back of my mind after I left for those few months. And then yeah, those few months I was actually like really sad because I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't working, and I just really wanted to go back to welding.
Yeah.
Um, but then I found out that yeah, Fanshawe has a bunch of welding programs. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if I can get in for maybe like their January intake or like their next September intake. Um, so I applied, got in for January, and I was like, okay, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
this time, like, I gotta go. I gotta finish this whole 2 years. I gotta do
No
my
matter what it
co-ops. Like,
takes.
I
Yeah.
have to. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's where I am right now, and I'm happy with it.
So, when you come into this program a couple different ways, like if number one, you're a female, right?
Yeah.
So coming in as a woman, your first experience having a woman instructor like Jackie, how big of a difference do you think that made? Do you think it would have been different if it was a male instructor? Like maybe not, or how much of a boost was it to have it be a female?
Yeah, I think like 100% it was a big boost to have her as like one of my main teachers. There was a few other women in that program too, so it was nice to kind of have that full support of everybody.
Hmm.
So then when I switched over to Fanshawe, I was like, okay, there's probably not going to be any like women teachers, like I already know. So our first shop class was with, he's actually one of my favorite professors right now. His name's Claudio. And he just reminded me of like the male version of Jackie. So I was like, oh, perfect. Like this couldn't have been any better for me to start out. So I was like, cool, this is gonna be great.
And when you and then the other angle of it is you mentioned that your partner is a female. So from the LGBTQ lens, did you feel like that was perhaps any added pressure or anything you had to like keep under wraps or not be vocal about, or were you trying to be more from like the allyship angle?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot easier, I feel, when I was at Conestoga. There were a couple of other women that also were in the community, so I felt like super comfortable, safe. I feel safe at
Hmm.
Fanshawe too, but that's important. And then when I came to Fanshawe, I was like, okay, like I know who I am, and that's
Hmm.
fine, but like I didn't want to make it like
A
a
point.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter in that way if like, I start working or whatever, it really doesn't. Um, but like, when I'm talking to my professors or talking to like the other students, like I'm gonna mention my fiance eventually. So they're just
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
like put two and two together.
Yeah. The person you
uh,
love is the person you love, right?
yeah. But yeah, no, I definitely think it is important to like let people know, I'm part of the LGBT community. I have like these certain like morals that I have to stand by. So if I see anything or like hear anything with the other students or the professors, like I'm gonna say something,
Yeah. You're not
like
gonna
I'm
just
not
let
gonna
it
stay
slide.
quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm not gonna be like, hey, like look at my rainbows. Like it's chill.
No, and that's a really great point that you bring up because I feel like I feel the same way. So first of all, I'm in a I guess traditionally cis relationship. I'm married to a woman, but I have always my whole life since I was a kid. My parents have all been very like supportive of allyship and of the community. We have very close friends and family members that are in the community, so it would be extremely hypocritical of us to not be supportive of it. And my mom is a social worker, so it was always this angle of being vocal. Like, if someone says something around you that's not cool, like you need to stand up. You need to
Yeah,
stand up to them because other people might be too afraid or too shy or too
yeah,
whatever. And if you're not, because I got a big mouth, so if I got a
yeah,
big mouth, I might as well use it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, and it's gotten me into some hot water a few times because I mean you're not
yeah,
always in the right, but Um, but I think it's important that that side of the culture now shifts to like we all just know it's a thing. Like, okay, let's get past that.
Yeah.
But now, but now let's move on to the conversations of let's not let people get away with being jerks about it. Like
Yeah.
there
No,
needs to be a stop
exactly.
about that, like
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I know like the trade I'm getting into. I know like how, men and there's women that can kind of be a certain way, but like you just kind of have to either say something or well, like, if you don't, then I guess that's on you, but I'm
hmm
not like that kind of person.
yeah. Well, and I think it's going to change. Like, I mean, people are like,
Yeah.
it's a male dominated industry.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely it is. Now, is it a straight male dominated industry? I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, we don't,
exactly.
right? We don't know. So, let's not us make those assumptions. Like, first of all, let's try to fix this male dominated thing down with the patriarchy. Let's just get things to be better represented.
Yeah.
Then let's get, let's just move towards it being a thing where we just expect everyone around us to be diverse. And that
Yeah.
is what it is. It is what it is, right?
Yeah. And I definitely think with like, the newer generations, like I guess I would be a millennial. Yeah. Um,
How old are you?
28.
Yeah, you're
I
a
think that's
millennial.
one,
Yeah.
right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think like with like us, growing older and like things are changing a lot right now. I think like having our point of view kind of be seen more is going to be a lot better for like the future of people in general,
Yeah, in general. Yeah. So at the course you're taking now, first of all, how much did it help already having a little bit of a training? So like
Oh,
you're like day one at school, there's gonna be people around you that know nothing, like where you
yeah.
were before. They're like,
Yeah.
what the is welding? And you're gonna be like, oh, I already know. Like,
Yeah.
how much
Yeah,
easier was it?
it definitely was. Oh man, yeah, because when I first started Conestoga and I knew nothing, they like, Jackie really went into like the deep with like the beginnings and like the very first of everything. And when I started Fanshawe, they just kind of like jumped right into it. It kind of, I think they expected us to know something. So I was like,
hmm
okay, I'm glad I know something. But a couple, there's people in the class that they obviously either didn't have experience or like just weren't as exposed. So if I didn't have the previous like Conestoga program, I think I would have been really lost. And I would have had to do a lot of homework at home. Like a
How big
lot.
is the class? How many students are in your class?
I think there's 30, 35-ish
Oh
maybe.
wow, that's a
Yeah.
big
Like
class.
they have us split up into like two sections. So I think there's about like 30-ish people altogether.
Wow. And how many of the 30 are women?
Three. There's three of us.
Oh boy. And then how
Yeah.
many, just off the top of your head, how many of the 30 some do you think are people of color?
Um, I would honestly say maybe almost half, honestly.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say too, like here in London, especially Fanshawe, it's super, super like diverse in like the student community.
Good.
Yeah, so I would say maybe like I get half of it.
So now, you're basically coming out of your first year pretty soon, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
how's it going? Like how are you doing? Are you top of the class, middle of the class? Are you the star?
No, 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 no. I wouldn't say that. I mean, like as much as I really love what I'm doing, like, theory is always really hard. But nah, I would say
We have YouTube
probably
videos online to
I
help
know.
you.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
I watch a lot. No, but I don't know. I'd say I'd be pretty average. Like I know I'm not top of the class because, well, I just know I'm not. I don't have that GPA. But one of my friends, she is. So, I look to her a lot for like kind of advice on
hmm
like studying and like she's picked up TIG like quick, so quick. And I struggled for like a good 3 weeks on it. So she helped me a lot with that. And that's her favorite TIG. And she's like, I hate stick. And I'm like, well, I will help you with sticks.
Yeah,
We'll help
yeah.
each other. But yeah, no, there's definitely like I would say in the whole class, like I'd say everybody's doing pretty well, if not really well. So
hmm Good, good. So, with what you're doing in the class, and you still got another year ahead of you, right? Like,
mhm.
are you already starting to think of, what kind of work you're looking to get, or what kind of career you're looking to get into?
I have like I haven't really been thinking about it. I just really want to get as much experience as I can first. But I know like for sure, like I want to become like a red seal welder. So
Mhm.
I want to make sure that what I'm choosing to do from now until then, like will lead me in that path.
Yeah.
Not like 100% really sure like what I want to like go into. Um, but
Yeah,
I'll
well,
figure it out.
what the advice I always give people that are starting their welding career that are like you that want to get their red seal because some people just want to get out there and make money, and some
Yeah.
people are more concerned about getting that red seal to that's more of a climb the ladder type of career, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, if you're looking to get your red seal, I wouldn't even worry about the type of work you find coming out of school. Just try to find the one that gives you the most hours
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
what you need. It doesn't matter if you're manufacturing, it doesn't matter if you're pipeline, it doesn't matter what you're doing. At the end of the day, the fastest way to your red seal is hours.
Yeah.
So if you can find a company that's got, solid hours and maybe some overtime on the weekends and stuff like that, that's the one you're going to want to
Yeah.
take. And you can always figure out the experience part later because once you got your red seal, man, you can pick whatever job you want, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, that's totally like kind of what I'm thinking. And like, with the whole hours, I definitely want to try and find something where I can work overtime, I can work weekends. Like I want to, work to make money, but I want also, my hours because I want to get that. I really want to get that red seal.
yeah. And when you come out of Fanshawe, like how many hours will they give you? And, are you a level 1? Are you a level 2? How does it work?
So they actually, I don't think that they count any hours, honestly, in that program. Conestoga did, but didn't finish that. But at Fanshawe, they are, I think by the end of like our second year, they are going to be giving us some tickets. I'm not really sure what, like they haven't really told us, but
Probably like CWB tickets. So like,
yeah, like CWPD ticket. I just don't know like what positions and like I don't know what they're going to be giving us,
usually it's
but
based off of how good the students are. So you'll probably get a choice to be like all position stick or all position
yeah.
flux core. I mean, if school's subsidizing it or paying for it, my advice is to take as many as you
Oh
can.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, no.
test as the more
That's our plan.
yeah, the more CWB qualifications in your pocket, the easier
Yeah.
it is to find work and get jobs and everything. So
Yeah. And they said like, we'll be giving this to you the last year because then that way, you'll have more time with that and it won't expire, as
mhm,
quickly.
that's
But
good.
yeah.
Yeah, you got 2 years, so
Yeah.
you'll find
That's
something
all
quick.
right. Yeah.
I don't know any unemployed welders right now, so
Oh, that's good. I'm just like, okay.
yeah.
Whew.
So when you signed up for this course, even the Conestoga one, what did your parents think about that?
Oh yeah, that
When you were like,
was
"Hey, I'm going to be a welder," and they're like, "What the what?"
yeah. Well, first of all, they're like, what is that? And then they were like, are you sure? Like that seems dangerous. Only men do that job, like it's the
Did they actually
typical.
say that? Yeah.
They oh yeah, they all did, all of them. And I was like, oh God, thanks guys for your support. But yeah, no, I think they were just like worried, but I'm just like, after our first like couple classes, I was like, yeah, no, this is like pretty safe. Like I didn't feel like I was in danger. We go through a
hmm
lot of like safety classes and training, but yeah, they just have always kind of been worried and they're like, I don't know, it seems like it's like just a man's job. And I'm like, it literally isn't because look at all these women I follow on Instagram. Like there's a lot, really. I just didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's
yeah,
what I was going to ask you too. Like in terms of other female leadership, like how much? Obviously, you met Jackie. Jackie's a force herself. But in terms of the online community, did you find that online community pretty quick in your journey?
Yeah, so once I started the Fanshawe program, I made like a little Instagram just to like kind of track my progress and track my welds, see if I'm getting better or worse. And then yeah, I would just follow whoever would kind of pop up as like a recommended. And
hmm
I was like really surprised that I found a lot of women. Surprised in a good way though, but yeah, like Jackie kind of opened up a bigger, I guess just like a bigger like screen of people that I didn't know existed. Because I was like, I know like there's men, obviously. Seen a bunch of YouTube videos, it's all men. But like on
Yeah.
Instagram, it's you definitely see a lot more women, which is nice because I use Instagram a lot. So like it's like
Yeah.
my main way of like kind of getting myself into that industry with like the support of other women too.
Yeah. Have you joined any of like the Instagram like women's groups, like the Women's Syndicate and stuff like that?
I've joined a couple of like women's trades things on
Yeah.
Instagram. And on Facebook too. There's a lot of like Facebook groups. So I use that a lot too. Just trying to get more information on everything. Or if I have questions, like, I'll post a weld and be like, is this bad? Or like, how can I fix this? Or,
Yeah.
please look at this.
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah, like, because our professors at school, they're like, oh yeah, good job. And like that's it. But I'm just like, okay, but can I like what can I improve? Like what else can I
Yeah.
do with this? But yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's nice to have like that online support. And then having being able to go to the Jill of all trades. I had never done that before, so it was really awesome to see all the youth and like it was like an amazing experience for me. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about that when we get back from the break. There's a perfect time to take a little break here. Well, we've been talking with Ashly Martinez here, who's in London, Ontario, about her journey getting into the welding trades and her life within there. And when we get back from the break, we're going to talk about some of the cool programs that she's a part of and what's going to come up in her immediate future here. So don't go anywhere here on the CWB Association podcast. We'll be right back.
The CWB Association is new and improved and focused on you. We offer a free membership with lots of benefits to anyone interested in joining an association that is passionate about welding. We are committed to educating, informing, and connecting our workforce. Gain access to your free digital publication of the Weld magazine, free online training, conferences, and lots of giveaways. Reach out to your local CWB Association chapter today to connect with other welding professionals and share welding as a trade in your community. Build your career, stay informed, and support the Canadian welding industry. Join today and learn more at cwbassociation.org.
And we are back here on the CWB Association podcast. My name is Max Ceron, and we're going to continue here with Ashly Martinez, who's in London, Ontario. So, Ashly, before the break, we were talking about, all the different ways people can get involved. Social media comes up. There's lots of support groups, and I've been actually seeing kind of the tiers now. So it was like in the beginning, it was weld porn, and then it was weld doc, and then it started became more small groups and more, and then you start having like the pipe guys, the structural people, then you see the women's groups and the women's affiliations. Now I'm starting to see LBGT, you know, groups of welders online
Yeah.
and I that fills my heart because it's like everyone's starting to feel seen and represented. People are starting to find their niches where it's like I'm not alone. That's always the feeling people have.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're an immigrant or gay lesbian or disabled or neurodivergent. All these things, one of the first things your body does when you become anxious is to make you think you're alone, and you're not. It's like everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, these things are just happening to me. I'm the first person it's ever happened to. These
Yeah.
feelings I'm having, and they've never been felt before." And that's not true. That's not true. There's loads of people out there that feel the same way, right?
Yeah.
Now, with you in terms of volunteering for something like Jill of all trades, we can talk a little bit about that. But what's the impetus for that? Like, what's the reason that you want to go volunteer? That's a lot of work. Like, I mean, it's a lot of work. It's fun, but it is a lot of
Yeah.
work, and you got to take whole days out of your schedule to do
Yeah.
it. So, what
Yeah.
made you want to do that?
Well, first of all, Jackie asked, so I was like, yes. I was like, I will do anything you say. No, but we also did a bit of a volunteering thing at Conestoga. So we did I think Ontario Skills came to the school and they had a bunch of like grade school kids come in and just try out different trades in there. So that was kind of my first taste of like a volunteering experience. And I thought it was super cute, just like seeing these little kids learning how to like tack some MIG tags, like and
Yeah.
like, little picture frames. Like it was super cute. So I was like, oh, this is so fun, like trying to teach somebody how to do this, even though I just learned this yesterday. But it was really fun to do. So I felt like I don't know what that feeling is, but like
Satisfied? I don't know,
yeah,
like,
like
or just
it was like something inside that I was like, oh, this is nice. Like I like this feeling.
yeah.
So then when she asked about Jill of all trades, I was like, yeah, like that's amazing. It's, you know, women and like the youth, like that's even better. So let's go.
And it's huge.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it was massive. Like I was there for the whole day, and it was thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah, I was really not expecting it to be like that. I had like zero expectations. I didn't even know that was a thing, first of all.
Hmm.
So then when we got there, I brought also my two other friends that are in my program right now. So that was their first time doing anything too. But yeah, we were both, or the three of us were just kind of like in awe about like how big this was and like how many people were there. And it was like just, it was amazing. It was a good time.
And how did it feel like being in that new college, like the Cambridge College for Conestoga? Like,
Yeah.
holy cow, what a
Yeah, it's
building.
nice. Yeah, super, super nice. Like I'd I'd go to school there. I'd switch over.
Did you go back to your Fanshawe professors and were like, holy, we should have seen the school?
Yeah, no, we definitely all went back and we were like, yeah, this is a nice shop. This is a big school, big school. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was funny. It was a good time.
And for the people that are listening, Conestoga just built like 150 million or $200 million trades college in Cambridge, Ontario, and it's unreal. Like I mean, I posted a bunch of pictures on my Instagram if anyone wants to check them out. But it was a crazy experience,
Yeah,
and like I mean, the hoopla. Like you have the vendors, you have the
yeah,
food, you have the speakers. That lady from the construction show, what's her name, Mandy?
yeah, yeah. From HGTV, yeah,
Yeah,
she's
from
awesome.
HGTV. Like I mean, it was like a big deal.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was really cool to be there, and the school was ginormous. We got lost, but it was nice.
Now, what about in terms of like your engagement with the kids? Like these young women are coming in. How do you feel? How do you feel they did? What did they get out of it? Did you see some lights turn on, or did you see some like whatever? My parents just made me come, or
Yeah, I was like super excited to get in the booth with like a couple of the kids, and the first few students I had, the one she was like kind of scared of it, so I was
Mhm.
like, don't be scared, like just relax, I'm right beside you. And she did a couple of, you know, she pulled the trigger on the gun.
Yeah, yeah,
But she just wasn't having it. She didn't like it. So I was like, okay, it's okay. Like, let's go sit down. I don't want to force you to do this if you don't like it.
yeah, yeah.
Then I started talking to her a little bit more about like what she wanted to do, if she has any idea. And she wants to be a hairstylist. So I was like, oh, okay. It's still a trade, but you don't want to do this. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had I think like the last group that we had, I had one student with me and they really liked it. They said that they wanted to go into either carpentry or welding. And I was like, those can go pretty hand in hand, like if you want to do both. But
Yeah.
I think she was more into the carpentry, but she enjoyed it. So it was like kind of nice to have. It was kind of nice to see like, somebody not really digging it, because to me, I'm like, oh my God, I love welding. Like, how can you not? But they're
Hmm.
kids, so I get it. And then having my last student and she's like, oh, I really like this. Like, it's fun. I was like, yes, look, it is fun.
Well, and you never know the background. Some people
Yeah.
are afraid, right?
Yeah.
Because it seems like from the outside, welding can seem very aggressive.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
bright lights, loud sounds,
Yeah. Like fire, electric,
yeah,
like
the
no.
gear, helmets,
Yeah.
gloves, all this stuff. And it feels like you're like putting on a spacesuit just to go do this little thing.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that's but then you see other people who like get excited by that. They're like,
Yeah.
wow, I get to put on all this cool stuff just to do this,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. It was definitely like when we were at the Jewel of Trades, I could tell some students were scared about the helmet and they were like, oh, what if this doesn't, automatically change? Or like, what if the light catches my eye? And I'm like, as long as you have this on and I checked all your stuff, like you're fine. Like, don't worry. It's okay,
Hmm.
And then they kind of like ease into it a little bit, but I get it. Like, it's scary. You're young, and I'd probably be scared if I was in high school too.
So, in your opinion, as a young woman now who's in the trades, whose parents weren't really supportive, it never really came up about it, wasn't a conversation, like all the things that we say we're doing wrong in society, like women don't know about it, they're not exposed to
Yeah.
it, they don't have the conversations with their parents about the trades, all
Yeah.
these things. In your opinion, how do we start fixing these things? Like, what do we need to do to get more women in the trades there, or to make them not be afraid to even expose themselves to it?
Yeah. I really think like right now in this like time that we're in, like social media has a really big like effect on people. Um, and it can be for the good. So like, all of these pages or these groups that have like the women's trades. I think if like people are just able to share that online with like others that maybe don't know what it is kind of a good way. Also like, like parents out there, like talk to your kids about all their options, like to me, I was only given the option of, oh, you're going to be a nurse or like a secretary, like, and I'm just like, why are those only two things that I have to pick from? Like, yeah. But definitely, yeah, like social media, I feel like is big. And then just like opportunities like locally, like these programs, or like government funded programs are really big right now.
Mhm.
So being able to get in, some women or like, minorities, I think it's just like kind of good that they're doing that here.
Yeah, no, and that's we always try to make sure that we get all these people into it, and we've been concentrating on that for years. And I feel like the numbers are getting better for women. I mean,
Mhm.
statistically, it's not looking good in your class, 3 out of 30. That's not
I
great.
know.
I know,
Yeah.
but and that's about the average. Actually, that's about 5%, which is kind of too
Mhm.
bad. But it's also the next step too. Now, when you talk about the Red Seal, it's making sure that all the women, all the people of color, all the other diverse groups out there that get into welding don't just start, but have a dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have a
Yeah.
dream about like this isn't just a job. Let's talk about this as a career.
Yeah.
And there's a bazillion things I can do. I can go. Maybe my dream is to build rocket ships. Well,
Yeah.
that's actually really doable. There's lots of
Yeah.
companies that build rocket ships.
Yeah.
Or maybe my dream is to build brand new sports cars or to build medical equipment. That was one of the things I seen. Like,
Mhm.
welding for medical equipment is one of the most sought after jobs right now, and they pays huge money. So,
Yeah.
okay, if you had a dream like that, then you could look at welding and be like, okay, this is what I gotta do. I gotta get my level 1, my level 2, maybe get my journey person. Then I gotta get stainless. I gotta get good at stainless. So I gotta figure out how to do stainless because that's all medical equipment is, isn't stainless. Like, then you start working your career, end up in
Yeah.
these rad jobs. I don't know if that happens enough. I don't know if those conversations happen enough in the schools. Like,
Yeah. I definitely in the school, it's kind of like, well, at least like the vibe I'm getting right now is like, you need to find a job. You know what I mean? And like that's also like, yeah, like we do. Um, but I think like they should really focus more on like the options that are out there because like I know what's out there. I just like would like to maybe have it presented to me in like an educational form.
mhm,
I
mhm.
can do my research online by myself. I can see what I like to do, but it would be nice for them to kind of go more into that in the schools, in the programs, because I definitely like in the Conestoga program and the Fanshawe program, we haven't really touched about like I guess like the specifics of like what you can go into. Like it's either like, oh yeah, like it's like structural or like pipe. And like that's kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
all we talk about. But like I know like there's more. So like can we have conversations about that, please?
Well, like Southern
But
Ontario, you guys got nuclear, you guys got
yeah,
you got
exactly.
shipbuilding, you
Yep.
got a
Yeah.
lumber industry, like you got all these cool
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah, yeah. My one professor in Conestoga, she was a nuclear welder too.
Mm.
So I was like, oh my gosh, that is like so cool. Like I have these two women that are teaching us and they're, amazing welders and they have like such cool careers. And I'm just like, I want to do that too. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit different at Fanshawe. Like, I guess for me in a way, like about like picking kind of like what path I want to go into. But again, like I do have a lot of support online, so that's where I'm gonna find the answers to those questions, I feel.
Yeah, and hopefully the pathways can be laid out. Like I know that's one of the things I'm working on here in my job in the CWB Association is we're trying to figure out how to lay out those pathways for people for persons like yourself. So like you are either thinking about welding or just getting into welding, but can I just go to a website that'll tell me, okay, these are the schools, these are
Yeah.
the programs, these are the type of things you could do, these are roughly what they pay.
Yeah.
This is where in the country I need to go if I want to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
exactly.
like
Yeah.
because if I want to be a shipbuilder, well, I'm not going to do that in Saskatchewan, right? Because there's no ocean. But if I want to work on like crazy high tech agricultural equipment, then I do want to be in Saskatchewan or
Yeah.
mining, right? Like
Yeah.
Saskatchewan's got so much mining. Like if I want to get into some really cool mining, high end work like that, then that's where I go. Or if I want to get into
Yeah.
logging, I go to BC. Or if I want to get into, if
Mhm.
I want to work in a diamond mine, I can go to Northwest Territories or,
Yeah.
like all these cool things. But no one knows kind of how to find that information aside from just stumbling into it online.
Yeah. Or like
Like
like if you don't think about it, you're not gonna look for that, you know?
Yeah,
Like
you don't
I
you don't
know
know what
that
you don't
there's
know. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, exactly.
So, when you think about yourself then, aside from your Red Seal, what are kind of some of the dream gigs that float across your mind? You said you love art. There's always an artistic angle to welding,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how the money. I shouldn't say that. I have friends who are artists that are rich, but
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely not going to be like, oh, that's what I'm only going to do. But I definitely like, after a while, like would like to kind of have that be like my side thing for sure. Um, but I think right now, like, uh, I'm pretty interested in pipe. Not like I don't have like a set like thing that I want to do, but like I think I would like to do that. Um, but then also like right now I'm living, in London. I'm living with my in-laws, and I'm just like, okay, we need to like get out of here. So I just want to be able to work, move
mhm.
somewhere to start like a certain pathway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't want to like kind of just choose one thing right now, but I do think I would like pipe. Um, and the medical equipment too, like I know that that's like pretty popular and think it's cool too.
Yeah, it is pretty cool stuff. Like, I got to build stuff for food processing for a while,
Yeah,
and like that was such cool work. Like
yeah,
the machines that handle the animals, and like and you're like, oh, they're always designing like new machines to do it like in a more humane way, in
yeah,
a safer way, cleaner. Everything's going to be made out of really good quality stainless. No weld's going to have
yeah,
any pits or cracks because those are places where bacteria can live.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I really enjoy that type of work. And I would even say that I wasn't even that good at it because at that point in my career, I wasn't very good at welding thin materials. I was always better at thick stuff. So,
Yeah,
like, I mean, there's always a learn. I mean, that made it challenging. That was like a learning curve
yeah,
for me, being like,
yeah,
wow, I got a TIG weld. I've never been the strongest TIG welder. And it's like, okay, well, 90% of this work is TIG welding. Guess I'm
yeah,
gonna have to figure this out now. Like,
yeah. No, I mean, like, as much as like I would like to, do well in like every kind of like process. I would like to do something that's just maybe stick, which is why I was like, okay, I want to maybe do pipe.
pipe, yeah.
But like, I like the
But iron
calmness of TIG
workers,
or
right?
ironworkers. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
That's all stick
But yeah.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you scared of heights?
I feel like I'd get over it, but a
It's not
little bit,
bad. Yeah, it's not.
yeah, like
Just remember, you're not scared of heights. You're just scared of falling.
yeah,
Just
I'm
think
just
of
scared of
that.
dying. That's it. And I'm
Yeah,
like, as
but
long as I don't die, it's good.
that's right. But once you go through all the safety and you learn
Yeah.
about the harnesses and the safety equipment,
Oh
then you're
yeah.
not scared of falling anymore.
Yeah.
Because technically, like if you do everything right, you can't fall.
Yeah,
Like
no,
I mean,
exactly.
like it's like they're
Yeah.
set up. There's so many rules, and the only time people get hurt is when they like break the rules. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. They're doing something wrong. So
Yeah, they shouldn't have been doing whatever the heck they were
yeah.
doing, right?
Yeah. But no, yeah, both yeah. I like both things.
So what's now, the thoughts in terms of your art? Have you started making any art? Have you started building anything and kind of seeing if you're good at? Do you have a little welder at home, or are you just doing stuff at school?
No, no, I don't
Yeah.
have anything at home. Probably won't until like we maybe like get our own space. Um, but I just really like, I guess, like the art that I see on Instagram with like the TIG and like the different colors and like making
Mm,
these little signs. Like I think that's super cool to do. And then just like making, I guess like little like structures and figurines. Like I've seen a lot of people be like doing that.
yeah, that's
And I
cute.
think that's just so cute. And like I want to be able to do that too. I can't right now, but it would be fun to do that just like on like the side.
Yeah, I know TIG Devil from Diesel. He does amazing TIG work online. Dabs Wellington.
Hmm.
He does amazing stuff with TIG art, and man, I don't know if I could do it. Like I have everything I need to do in my garage to do that,
Yeah.
and I've never even tried. I've been like,
Oh.
I'm just gonna screw this up. Like I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's funny.
But I can take stainless and make it look pretty with colors. But I've never tried to like.
Yeah,
But I guess I'm just not that artistic. Like I'm not a
yeah,
doodler. I don't sit around and
yeah,
just draw. I've never been that kid. Like I mean,
yeah.
my art skills are, I would say, novice level.
That's fine though. It's just you
Yeah,
haven't practiced.
yeah, yeah. I guess that's got to be my retirement gig.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So how many more months do you got left of school now?
So let's see. I don't know what we're in. We're in June.
Yeah, June.
June,
Yeah.
July, June. So I guess until next December, because yeah, our last semester is co-op. So, and I think that's next September to December. So that would be kind of it for school.
So
Yeah.
you still got a year and 4 months left. You got lots
Yeah.
to learn.
Yeah. I feel like it's a long time, but I also feel like it's not a long time, like like this half of the year has already gone by so fast. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that's insane.
Awesome. Well, to wrap up the interview, let's go over just a couple more questions. Uh, for one of them, it's what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's perhaps specifically kind of where you are? A young woman, part of the community, and they're looking at getting into the trades and are maybe afraid that it wouldn't be a welcoming or safe or friendly place. What kind of advice would you give to someone like that?
I would say just kind of like go into it and just like, I don't know, like don't be scared, because once you feel like you don't belong, or like you're worried that like maybe someone will judge you, it's really going to ruin the whole process for you. And it's hard to like kind of come back from that, because you'll just always feel like the odd one out. But if you just go in there confident and just like fake it till you make it, really. And
Hmm.
if you have issues with people when you're learning this stuff, like bring it up, and like don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to like, talk to like your professors or your guidance counselor, or someone that can help you out if you're struggling with uh like like maybe like
People's
other people,
behavior. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
people's behavior. Yeah, exactly. Just make sure you speak up once you see something happen, because you're out of school and they want you to feel safe. So that's going to be their main priority, is to make sure that you're comfortable. And they're there to help you. So
And then what about the same question in terms of yourself as an ally? What would you kind of challenge the other allies out there to be like? Like what should we do to help perhaps the people around us that might need it?
yeah, honestly, I've had like so far a really good experience with both of the schools in terms of like, like allyship and stuff. I know that might not be the case like for everybody, but like just be kind to people. They'll be kind back to you.
Mhm.
If you want to let people know about, like your personal life, do it. If not, just, be yourself still. Like don't try to
Yeah,
hide anything, and just like be yourself. People will like you. Like I was
yeah,
really worried about going into this new program saying, oh my gosh, like nobody's gonna like me. I don't know. But like, just be yourself, make people laugh. You'll have a good
yeah.
time.
Well, and the allies are out there. Everyone needs to
Yeah, they're
remember
out
that
there.
they're out there. Like, I mean, you can reach out online, like on in these podcasts. My
Yeah.
organization, the association. If you're not alone, if I were to get a DM on Instagram being like, "Hey, someone's, you know, bullying me," I was like, I actually, I'd probably follow that up and be like, "All right, who?" Like,
Yeah. Let's go. Let me know. I will do something for you.
even if
That's
it's just
funny.
trying to connect with a local guidance counselor or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
a whole bunch of people in this online community out in the world,
Yeah.
in the network of welding. We care about this industry and we want to see
Yeah.
it grow. We don't want people to have bad experiences,
Yeah.
right?
I've definitely noticed like this community is big, but it's also very small. Like everybody kind of knows everybody. So,
Hmm.
there's a lot of help for everybody if you need it.
Yeah. Are you a part of the association? Like, I know Jackie's usually pretty good with getting people signed up for.
Yeah, when I was at Conestoga, I did sign up for the Guelph, so I am. So follow
Mhm.
that on Instagram, get the emails, the newsletters.
Good, good. Now you're gonna
Yeah.
get to see yourself in there when we release this.
Yeah. I guess so. That's weird, but
Awesome.
yeah.
And last, any shout outs, anything you want to say to anybody, any hellos that you'd like to send out to the universe?
Um, I would just like to thank the universe for letting me do this. And I'd also like to thank my fiance. She's beside me right now. Honestly, without her, I probably wouldn't be able to do any of this. So
Awesome. Well, Ashley, it's been super fun having you on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Thank you.
Awesome. And for all the people that have been following along, we're just coming out of June here. I believe this one's going to be released either the last week of June, which is next week, or the first week of July. So we're going to be coming up on the end of Pride Month. Hopefully everyone remembers Pride Month is just a reminder that we need to be in that state of mind all the time. Support and love each other. Love is love. And we need to make sure that we are all supporting all the people around us that need that support to make our community strong. Aside from that, keep downloading, liking, clicking, sharing our podcast. We're doing really, really well. We're coming up to our summer season, and then it's back at her hardcore for September with Chicago and FabTech. And keep sending us suggestions for people for the podcast, topics for the podcast, and of course, any comments you have about how we're doing. We always appreciate it. So until then, stay tuned for the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed the show.